Long before Europeans or Americans first arrived in this country, ancestors of the Nez Perce, or nimíipuu, recorded graphic evidence on rock surfaces of their presence along the Snake River. At Buffalo Eddy, there are densely grouped pictographs and petroglyphs. They contain hundreds of distinct images that possibly date from as early as 4,500 years ago. Buffalo Eddy is approximately 20 miles south of Lewiston, Idaho, and Clarkston, Washington. The Washington figures are accessible by car and a short trail with interpretive signs. The Idaho illustrations are only accessible by boat and are on private property. This site is part of the Nez Perce National Historical Park. Buffalo Eddy likely gets its name from ancient pictographs of buffalo and humans painted on the prominent Buffalo Rock Formation located along the Idaho side of the Snake River. Petroglyphs are the main attraction on the Washington side. They are images created by scratching, carving, or pecking part of the rock surface to expose different colored rock underneath. Here at Buffalo Eddy, some sort of hard stone may have been used to chip away the rust-colored surface layer. Did these symbols provide directions to hunting areas, record celebrations and religious events, or were they merely artistic expressions? We will probably never know. Their meanings were lost with time. Buffalo Rock and the complementary rocks on the west side of the river appear to be granite. However, it is believed they are actually metamorphic sand and gravel, much older than the surrounding basalt formations. The rocks near the river, here and throughout Hell's Canyon, appear to have a glossy, silver-like sheen in the sun. This is best viewed without polarized glasses. The coating is known as desert varnish or patina. Over time and with the sun's heat, calcium, silicone, and other minerals in the river's water dry on the rocks to form this very thin, glass-like coating. Many of these rocks feel smooth to the touch and are slick to walk on, especially when wet, so tread carefully. This was a significant river crossing site for the native people. In addition, the deep pool provided ample water even during drought conditions. Springs that emerged from between basalt rock layers on the hillsides also provided water for travelers. These small oases are evident by the green vegetation that contrasts with the surrounding brown hillsides during dry periods. Today, hundreds of tourists from around the globe cultivate their own interpretations of the graphics. Day trippers also find serenity with the spirits and beauty that surrounds them. Buffalo Eddy may be the deepest pool in the Snake River. Depending upon the river flow levels, it is approximately 120 to 140 feet deep. Long before recorded history, exceptionally large ice jams backed up water here. Sometimes the obstructions could be 18 to 20 feet above the water. This caused the river upstream to rise 10 to 15 feet. As pressure built behind the blockage, the water was forced to go under it and dredge out this deep hole. More recently, ice jams played a role in river navigation at Buffalo Eddy. During the winter of 1948, Captain Kyle McGrady's loaded freight boat, the Florence, encountered an ice jam forming in the channel here. McGrady managed to navigate about halfway through the jam before forward progress was halted when his route options were zippered shut by ice that encased the boat. The stranglehold eventually lifted his boat up and out of the water. In a few days, the ice jam was so thick around the Florence that a 16-foot pole pierced down through the surrounding ice couldn't reach the water. The Florence remained besieged until a major break in the weather released the hostage, 52 days later. Hydropower dams upstream of here draw water from deep down in the reservoirs. This increases the winter water temperatures by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit and greatly reduces the possibility of epic ice jams forming here today. Whirlpools also create extremely hazardous conditions at Buffalo Eddy. In the past, some of them were 30 or more feet across, with a vortex in the middle that was 10 to 15 feet deep. Whole pine trees were observed being sucked down out of sight on the Idaho side. Then, they reappeared in a roaring boil of debris that shot up out of the water 4 to 6 feet high on the Washington side a few minutes later, minus most of their limbs. Buffalo Eddy has claimed many swimmers' lives over the years. Unfortunately, this continues today. Buffalo Eddy is home to many. In my opinion, none are as prestigious as the regal white sturgeon. Juveniles, in addition to adults that may be 6, 7, 8, or more feet long and may be older than 100 years, have been recorded here. A pioneer resident, Captain Elmer Earl, caught one that measured 14 feet, 6 inches long several decades ago. Since ice jams no longer scour the riverbed below, Buffalo Eddy is filling up with sand and rock. A portion of the walking path was a former roadway. The road was relocated to help prevent additional vandalism of the petroglyphs, including their removal and being shot with bullets. Be alert for poison ivy between the pathway and the river. Also, use your eyes and ears to detect rattlesnakes that bask in the sun and shade around the rocks. The National Park Service reminds us
these ancient petroglyphs are sacred to the Nez Perce and protected by federal law. The digging, collection, or damaging of these resources is a felony offense punishable by fines up to $100,000, or imprisonment, or both. Please help us protect and respect Buffalo Eddy so that generations of visitors will be able to experience them. Leave petroglyphs as you found them. Do not etch or paint over them, or pry them away from the bedrock. Digging in the area or collecting rocks is not allowed at this site. Metal detector use is strictly prohibited here and throughout the entire park. Please do not litter. Report any damage or suspected violation to the National Park Service at 208-843-7009.